darkness, hardship, death. This is Hoa Lo Prison, a place that stands as a reminder of Vietnam's turbulent history. Originally built by the French to imprison Vietnamese revolutionaries, Hoa Lo Prison had witnessed both the heartbreaking and inspiring stories of Vietnamese soldiers. Later, during the Vietnam War, Hoa Lo became known as Hanoi Hilton, where American POWs were held. Throughout its existence, Hoa Lo Prison has seen some of the most significant chapters in Vietnam history. In today's video, we hear from expats as they walk through its haunting corridors and share their thoughts on visiting such a historic site.
So far, I feel sad for the people that spent any time here at all, and especially sad for the ones that endured the worst of the worst, and which is why I wanted to come to this monument to pay my respect to what the people went through back then, the political prisoners, and staying passionate for their cause. And obviously they triumphed in the end, and I'm happy for them that they did that.
Amazed at how many wars the Vietnamese have had to fight.
Yes.
We're very knowledgeable about the American war because that was when we were growing up. But all those wars and political fights before, it's just never stops.
I see. How are you?
And how stoic the people must have been. Like, the conditions are just absolutely harrowing. And I just walked around feeling very emotional, thinking, you know, the world's learnt nothing. We've still got wars going on, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan, Israel, and it's just terrible to think that these people have been through this and other people are going through it as well in, you know, many, many, many years later.
It's clear that the Vietnamese people are
Very
pretty
kind,
tough, and they've had years of being tough.
but they're also
But
gracious
they're very, very gracious people.
and gentle.
And gentle.
Yes.
And we've enjoyed
We've
their
enjoyed
hospitality.
I see.
Yes, yes. So it helps us understand a lot.
That's why
to
we
be
came
here.
here.
Yes.
I find it quite confronting. I'm from a colonial country. So I'm from New Zealand, where obviously the English colonized Maori. And it is, whenever you go to a colonial country and you go to a prison, like you can go to Australia and go to the prisons there, and it's always upsetting and it's always quite horrific because you're sort of drawn back into what we now think of as quite a long time ago, but is obviously so traumatic and terrible that it sort of carries on. So yeah, I found it quite confronting and really sad.
How are you?
I think what struck me most is the brutality of only, say, 50 years ago. Yet just how welcoming everyone has been from Vietnam since we've been here.
Yeah.
Because it's not really that... I mean, we've met people that fought in the war, were imprisoned, and how they can go from that to within 50 years being so accommodating for us is...
Yeah. It is. It's really
Pretty
surprising.
incredible.
Obviously, we have history between the United States and Vietnam. I grew up with friends who were Vietnamese, whose family came to the United States after the war. So I had personal connection to Vietnamese culture.
Wow.
So to me, it's been special to come here and learn more about the country and see the things that made their family so special. So I've really enjoyed being here and learning more about the history of Hoa Lo, that it wasn't just a prison for the Americans, but also for Vietnam
Yeah,
during the
Vietnamese.
French occupation. So it's been a bad place for a very long time, and I'm glad that you have preserved the memory, so that everybody can learn from it in this time of peace.
This place is very interesting. It's explain about the problems that Vietnam have with the colonialism, about French or American, and I am a people who like a very historical war, and it's very very good this museum, and it's very hard pictures and the testimony from the people stay here.
I think you get an understanding of the Vietnamese perspective more than you maybe knew from home. It's a lesson on human behaviour and human endurance. It's giving us more information leaving than when we first started.
I see.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, how did it like differ? Like your perspective before and then after visiting the place.
I think it's just understanding the Vietnamese spirit, how you, survival,
and endurance,
resilience.
Here, the Americans and the Vietnamese
Should have
are
worked
coming together here.
coming together.
So it ends with an optimistic, happy note rather than just being a museum of war, death and suffering.
Now the war had passed, leaving behind story of survival and resilience. Yet, it's heartbreaking to know that even today, war continues in many parts of the world, and countless of people still live without peace. Hoa Lo Prison is just one of many tragic war stories that remind us of the importance of striving together for a more peaceful world.